I want to talk about a very popular verse today, located in the book of Matthew in chapter 24. Chapter 37 begins, "But as the days of Noah were, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be." This is a favorite verse amongst Christians and false end times prophets alike. But what does it all mean? It certainly would be mysterious if you allowed your imagination to get carried away with itself, start thinking about giants, angels breeding human women, hybrid animals, God destroying the whole world with fire instead of water because, that's what the rainbow meant. No. Here's what the rainbow meant. In Genesis chapter 9 states, "I set my rainbow in the cloud, and it shall be for the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. It shall be, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the rainbow shall be seen in the cloud, and I will remember my covenant which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. The waters shall never again become a flood to destroy all flesh. The rainbow shall be in the cloud, and I will look on it to remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth. And God said to Noah, This is the sign of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is on the earth." Consider the phrase spoken here by Moses when he says, "It's the covenant between me and you and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth." That's why Paul says in Romans chapter 8, "For the earnest expectation of the creation eagerly awaits the revealing of the sons of God. For the creation was subjected to futility, not willingly, but because of him who subjected it in hope, because the creation itself also will be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groans and labors with birth pains together until now. Not only that, but we also, who have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, eagerly waiting for the adoption, the redemption of our body." This is ultimately the covenant that we and all creation are waiting on, the promise made to Abraham that was eventually fulfilled through Christ's death on the cross. The rainbow is a sign that the world will never be destroyed again, not by anything, that it will be made new. It will be renewed by the grace of God through the redemption that is in Christ Jesus. And having considered all of that, let's go back to Matthew chapter 24, verse 37, and read again, "But as the days of Noah were, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark, and did not know until the flood came, and took them all away. So also will the coming of the Son of Man be. Then 2 men will be in the field, one will be taken and the other left. 2 women will be grinding at the mill, one will be taken and the other left. Watch therefore, for you do not know what hour your Lord is coming." Now, he says here, you do not know the hour that the Lord is coming. And in other passages it says, no man knows the hour or day. But he gives us the seasons. He gives us even a generation. These passages are beloved by those who believe in the rapture. But why? The devil has tricked them. In this passage, it specifically compares the coming of the Son of Man to the coming of the flood waters. The coming of the Son of Man is not the boat to save Noah. The coming of the Son of Man is the water to destroy the wicked. Noah and his sons, those who were saved from the coming of the flood waters, were left on earth. And everyone else was taken away. All of the wicked people were taken away. So if you misunderstand this passage and think that Jesus is coming to take away all of his people to heaven and leave the world in the hands of the Antichrist for 7 years, you're just straight up wrong. It's a lie. It's been conceived by the devil to trick you into believing that he hasn't been defeated yet, that he's still in charge. He wasn't in chains for 1,000 years. The age of darkness isn't over. the kingdom hasn't come, devising these plans, and that he isn't out currently deceiving the nations right now as we await Judgment Day. It's a lie conceived to draw in false converts to Christianity, converted into faithless, nervous wrecks by the fear of the Antichrist. There are two more things I want to discuss. Both of them concern delving deep into the original languages in which the Bible was written. First, Daniel chapter 9 gives us a perfect timeline for when the Great Tribulation is going to take place. We just don't believe it. From a place of arrogance, we want our generation to see the temple built and destroyed before our very own eyes to believe that the prophecy was fulfilled. But you don't even have to sit there and count the days to know when it happened. You can do that by studying the following passages from Daniel chapter 9. 70 weeks are determined for your people and for your holy city to finish the transgression, to make an end of sins, to make reconciliation for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. They had 70 weeks to do that when Jesus came. He goes on to say, "Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the command to restore and build Jerusalem until Messiah the Prince, there shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublesome times. And after the 62 weeks, Messiah shall be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince who is to come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. The end of it shall be with a flood. Until the end of the war, desolations are determined. Then he shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week, but in the middle of the week he shall bring an end to sacrifice and offering. And on the wing of abominations shall be one who makes desolate, even until the consummation, which is determined, is poured out on the desolate." That was a lot of information to take in. But when was an end to sacrifice and offering brought? They sacrificed animals to atone for their sins. Jesus put an end to that at the moment of his death. He was the last sacrifice. But the word study that I want to do here is on the phrase cut off. It says after the 62 weeks, Messiah shall be cut off, but not for himself. The original word in the Hebrew is the word kareth, or extirpation. It's a form of punishment for sin that is capital punishment. It's death because of sin. So if you wanted to draw the passage out a little bit longer, you could have easily translated it by saying, after the 62 weeks, Messiah shall be killed as punishment for sins, but not for himself. Which we know is exactly what happened. And Daniel tells us that that event marks the exact center of the Great Tribulation. The last thing I want to discuss is one of the Bible's most well-known verses. And if you stuck with me this long, it's going to be worth it. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 18 says, "Here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of man. His number is 666. This number strikes the heart with a variety of emotions for every person who misunderstands it, Christian and non-Christian alike. The idea that 666 is the number of his name is a totally foreign concept in our language. It's a syntax error because it's not inspired by God, the language, as are the original Hebrew and Greek languages. You say that it's the number of his name in those languages, it would have meant something, because the alphabet in those languages are also used to represent numerical values. So having said that, I'll just leave you with these following images and let you figure the rest out for yourself.